What's up, wildlings? Welcome back to Chasing the Wild Wonder. Today I am super excited to talk to you about a new piece of camera gear that I got because I think it's going to, dare I say, revolutionize the way that I film videos and the way that I create content, at least in one aspect of it, with aerial footage, and that is the DJI Avata. Now this is an FPV style drone, which is a lot different. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but it is different than your traditional drones like my previous drone I had, which was the Mavic 2. Anyway, we'll talk about all that with the differences between the traditional drone that I had and this one and just what I like into it. But in this video, basically what we're gonna go over is my first impressions with this. We're gonna watch my very first flight, how I've just learned to fly, because this is, flying these are a lot different than your traditional drone. It's a lot scarier, let me tell you that. Yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, before we start flying, I want to tell you guys, give you a little overview of everything. I shot a whole unboxing video, but I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared off my phone and whatever. So I'm just gonna go over each component and what you get. I ordered the ProView combo, which is kind of their basic combo, and it comes with everything that you need to get started. One, it obviously comes with the drone itself. So this is the Avata. It comes with one battery. This is the battery on the back here, just this little thing, and then this is the drone. Now this thing, my first impressions with just the build quality is that it feels pretty solid. You know, it's made out of a strong but lightweight ABS plastic. I would imagine that if you run into anything or crash on the ground, you know, at considerably lower speeds, you're not gonna do too much damage to this. One thing that I did hear from other creators and other people that got a chance to use this first, you know, the people that DJI sent it to before it was even released. I'm not jealous! Is that the battery would actually pop out sometimes if you crashed it too hard. And that's probably because these two little bridge pieces here is what kind of the battery kind of clips into. And I could imagine with enough force that these would flex just enough and the battery would slide right out. Now, you'd think that wouldn't be the case with how hard it is to actually get the battery out. Like, I really gotta like squeeze and get that out of there, but apparently that's possible. Now the negative about that is that this drone actually does have some find me features, some find my drone feature, where if you do crash it and you know you flew it way out here over into the trees and you really don't know where it is, you gotta hike out there to go find it. Well, if the battery's still plugged in, you can actually turn on and look to see where it is on the GPS on your phone, kind of give you the general area, so then you can walk out there and follow the GPS on your phone and get close. And then it has another feature that allows you to make it beep. So that way when you're close to it, you can turn on the beeping, and then audibly you can, you know, quickly find it by following the noise. The other feature that it has is that you can go back on your goggles, and if you're recording on the SD card on your goggles as well, you can go back and see the last moments of footage before it crashed, so that way it can kind of help guide you and see, you know, the different landmarks or features that you flew through before it crashed, and that will really help. All that to say, none of that will work if your battery doesn't stay in and provide power to the drone to allow it to beep and allow the GPS to work. So what a lot of people did was they figured out some kind of strap to keep it in. Me, I just got a removable zip tie, and you know, you can put it through there and zip tie it on. That just gives it a little extra security to help keep it strapped in, and it doesn't affect the flight at all. You know, the zip tie weighs barely nothing, so that just allows a little extra security. That was something that I did right away after watching YouTube videos and saying like, oh, if I do crash, I don't want that to happen because these things aren't cheap and I don't want to go just lose them. So that's one thing to note of if you do get one of these drones. So we have the drone itself, then we have the goggles. Now the goggles are the way that you fly FPV drones. You don't stare at a screen. I mean, obviously there's a screen in here, but you're not staring at like your phone or a screen on the controller. You're looking through these VR style goggles. Now, I will admit, this took a little bit of getting used to, and I wasn't as stoked about this option, but upon flying it and doing the flight simulator, it really makes a big difference with FPV because it allows you to kind of immerse into what the drone is seeing. And when you're flying in through tight gaps and things like that, it really helps and it really gives you a better perspective to, you know, kind of get that immersive field of view so you're not running into anything. I don't like wearing these for too long because my eyes start to strain. I can get a headache. Luckily, these aren't that heavy. This is the new version. This is the Goggles 2. The previous versions I heard, I never actually held them or used them myself, but I heard they were a lot heavier, bulkier, and not as clear. These ones have adjustments to where you can adjust the focus and the positioning of the lenses to get it exactly where you need it for your eyes, to make it super easy. And then you have the controller. So this is the controller that comes with the ProView combo. This is DJI's motion controller. Now this is a lot different than your traditional drone controller, because usually you have two thumb joysticks that you move around with, and you got your up and down, you got your left and right, you got your yaw, I believe, which is like a sideways to the left and to the right as opposed to spinning to the left and the right. And I don't know my aerial flight terms. This, however, you control by the accelerator trigger. So this is just pushing on the gas. This is how fast you're gonna go. So obviously all the way down is full acceleration. You got some buttons up here, which you got your brake. So if you need to just halt, stop, push the brake. You got your lock button, which this is what you use to take off and land. And then you have your mode button to change from normal to sport mode. So how you turn is you just rotate the handle itself. It's all based on a gyroscope system, which is really cool. So I'm excited to actually try this out and see how it works and see how it handles. So before I fly the drone, DJI has provided a flight simulation app. So we're gonna hop into that app and actually get a little bit of simulated flight time in so I can kind of get familiar with how this all works. So before I actually fly and destroy my brand new drone. So let's get in the flight simulator. Here we go. It's funny getting in here because it feels just like a video game, but knowing that I'm practicing for something in real life, it made it a little more serious. Nonetheless, it is pretty fun. And the way it works is all you have to do is point the little circle that's on the screen to where you want to go, and that's where the drone goes. And you move that little circle just by rotating the motion controller to the left or right or up and down. I had my fair share of crashes at first, trying to get used to the controller and how it all works. It definitely seems very sensitive to the turning, and you can easily overcorrect your turns and fly right into something that you didn't see. But yeah, see, if you overcorrect like that, you just run into a wall instead of... You just need to spend a little bit of time in the flight simulator to actually get used to it and get your muscle memory and your brain working in sync with the motion controller. And once I did that, I found that this is actually very intuitive. Parker, of course, really wanted to try it, and I made Lacey try it even though she didn't want to, but she secretly had fun. I think I got enough time in the flight simulator, so let's go fly this thing for real.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's amazing.
All right, so now that I've got a little bit of time in the flight simulator and I've gotten used to the controls, I've gotten a little heads up, I feel a little more confident now. I feel a little more ready to actually fly this drone now. We got a lot of space. We're in an open area, so I'm gonna take it out. I got a field right in front of me. I'm gonna get some shots of the house that we're staying at. This is going to be my first flight. You guys are going to be watching my first flight, so. Okay, all right. We have visual.
Command, we have visual.
Woo! Okay, that's exhilarating. All right, oh hey, there's the camera. Hey everybody, that's me. Oh shoot, I'm not recording yet, dang it. Forgot to hit the record button, so let's start that over. Okay, and take off. Look at me wearing these dorky goggles. I look like the hobgoblin with this beanie on.
Hello, my dear.
All right. Okay. Oh, hey, there's the drone. Now let's step on the throttle. Oh yeah. Hey, there's our trailer. Check it out. Okay. I find myself naturally wanting to turn my head, but you know, I don't need to do that. So here it comes, there I am. Hello. Woo! Oh my gosh, this is so cool, you guys. Like, yes, I do want to get the FPV thumb controller eventually, but this is pretty cool. I mean, I don't feel like I'm gonna crash at all.
You know, obviously I'm not getting like too crazy with my moves right now, but it's really fun. Like, I'm just kind of cruising around. You know, maybe at some point I'll hit that gap going to that pipe. Probably not, but you know, whatever. So there I am, there's the home point. Let's bring it back in. Okay. It's funny because like I can't see what's going on around me, and so like I can only see what the drone sees. And so I'm hearing this drone come closer and I'm like feeling like it's gonna hit me, but I know it's not. All right, let's put it into sport mode and see what this baby can do. All right, we got up to 26, 28, 29, 30 miles an hour. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Check that out. And this is where it gets dangerous. I don't want to get close to anything, but there I am. Just have to be careful not to like overcorrect and go too much on this thing because it does like to. Whew, I'm getting a little dizzy, I almost fell over. I feel like I'm flying here. Woo! Guys, this is really fun. I'm gonna get so many cool shots of this thing. You have no idea. Once I get really good at this, and I really do want to get the FPV controller so I can do some even cooler shots with it besides just this. But again, I'm happy to just have this and start playing around with it and start getting comfortable. I have no idea how close I am. Woo! That scare you guys? Think I was gonna hit you in the head? All right, let's go see where the family is. I don't know where they're hiding in the trailer. Oh, there's Emery. Ooh, let's go really slowly through here. Oh, there's the cat. Easy, Lacey. Now I got about 15% battery left. Let's do one more circle. I don't want to push it too much, but I am having a lot of fun, guys. Woo! Oh. All right. Woo! That is a lot of fun. I cannot wait to start using this more as we get on the road and getting into a lot of cool places and just getting some really unique shots. Yeah, I think FPV style shots just really are set apart. They're just so dynamic and so diverse, and like you could just do so many things. That was my first flight with the Avata. A lot of fun. Again, super easy to use. If you're going to get this and this is your first time flying FPV, I highly recommend to download the DJI Virtual Flight app so that you can practice in the simulator. It's very similar. Pretty much exactly the same. I feel like it responds the same. It looks the same when you got your goggles on. And again, I didn't really feel, you know, in the combination of the goggles and the controller, I actually wasn't as nervous, or it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. And so I just felt a lot more comfortable, you know, and it was very just intuitive, and surprisingly, it responds very well to this. You know, it's very much real time, even when I'm out farther away. Obviously I didn't go like super far. So the transmission's really good. Let's get back into the studio and we'll talk more about this.
Okay, so now that I've had my first couple flights with this thing, I can say that I am in love. I mean, this thing is just so much fun to fly. It's not as scary as I thought it was gonna be. It definitely was a little bit nerve-wracking at first, but I'll say the adrenaline pumping through my veins when that thing first take off, you know, just flying it around and trying not to run into things. But being in the goggle view definitely gives you a whole new level of experience when flying a drone. So I would say if you've never flown FPV before, like I haven't, the Avata is the way to go for beginners, because one, if you don't know anything about FPV, most FPV stuff is all custom built, right? So you order all the different components, you figure out how you want your build to go. You got to do a lot of soldering and, you know, actually building this, you know, you choose your circuit board, your processors, your propellers, all these things. So that's why I've never got into it. But now that DJI has a ready to fly FPV drone that you don't have to do anything for except for purchase and do a couple quick flights in the simulator, and then you're ready to go. And now it's ready and it's accessible for anybody to get these cool shots. And it's just so much fun. Like, just flying it around, I would do this just for fun. Like, even if I wasn't filming anything, it's just so much fun to fly around and fly through gaps and do cool tricks. And yeah, I can't wait to get the manual controller where I can actually, you know, flip it upside down and do around and, you know, do free dives and things like that. I will say the pros of the motion controller are that it is super intuitive and super easy to do. You know, you can just grab it and go basically, and it feels just so intuitive as far as flying, because you just got to point where you want to go. You know, it just gives you that field of view and that perspective that makes it really easy to fly through in and around stuff. What I don't like about the motion controller is how limiting it is. Even though that's a good thing as a beginner, I just realized I never hit record on my microphone. Rookie mistake. Hopefully this iPhone audio is good enough. It's a good test, I guess, of this iPhone microphone. Might be a little bit echoey, so I apologize for that, but I'm definitely not redoing all that. So back to the motion controller. Yeah, it's definitely intuitive, really easy to use, really easy to get started. It is limited on what you can do because you're mainly flying like an airplane as opposed to a helicopter, where an airplane, you know, you're being propelled forward. And so then you just turn and go based on wherever the camera's facing. So you could do the yaw so that like you could look at something over here while you're flying forward, or you're flying to the side while the camera's, how do I explain this? The camera is not limited to looking forward. You can look backwards, you could circle around things without the camera being stuck in the forward position. Now, I did find out that you can enable head tracking on here. So now the goggles actually has a motion controller built in as well. I thought that this was just going to be an added turning, you know, benefit, so that you could turn wherever you look, that's where you turn. But the head tracking actually adds in a whole nother dynamic where you are turning the camera, essentially, even though it turns the whole drone. So this way you can be flying, and if you turned your head, the camera will look. But then if you're pointing your motion controller forward, the drone will still fly forward, and then wherever you're looking your head. So then that way you can actually do circles and do cool moves like that. Now you can do all that with the FPV thumb controller that you can get. You can still do all that with this drone. It's just the motion controller that's more limited. The head tracking thing is definitely, I feel, more gimmicky than anything. It's kind of a cool, fun thing to play around with and show people like, hey, look, my drone follows my head turns. I haven't figured out how to enable head tracking in the flight simulator, because I'd love to put some hours in the flight simulator to kind of get used to the whole head tracking thing and get it in sync with my hand. I found it very difficult to actually use and fly, be able to fly and get any kind of smooth, good looking shots, because it kind of seems like, you know, if I turn my head and do anything, then I just lose track and I don't get like a smooth flight out of it. Another thing that is different with this compared to your more traditional cinematic style drone is that this thing is freaking loud. It's just got a rip. I mean, it goes fast, and so it is just high-pitched and loud. I mean, drones were getting quieter and quieter and quieter, but FPV drones, no, they have no chill. But yeah, if you're hoping to sneak in a drone shot and get you know, a nice, quiet, low buzzing sound, no, this sounds like you're being attacked by a swarm of murder hornets. I'm super stoked to have this drone. I can't wait to get out and fly more and put some more hours in, and I'll be putting together a full, more detailed review of the Avata once I have more time with it and more experience, and if I come across any problems like that. So that way, if you are considering getting into this FPV style shooting for your vlog or for your channel or whatever, you have a really good idea of what you're getting yourself into. With that being said, I'm gonna get out there and fly some more of this and see what kind of cool shots I can get. So if you enjoyed this video and you got anything out of it, please make sure to like it and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We got a lot of cool stuff going on, and I've got some more gear that I'm going to be doing reviews on, so I can show you guys how we're making our videos on our channel and how we're doing our travel videos and all that stuff. Make sure to leave a comment below if you've been flying FPV for a while, or if you want to get into it. Let me know what your thoughts are and if you would go FPV or not. We'll see you in the next one.